Good evening and welcome. Tonight we will be going over the history and geography of Baja California Sur in Mexico. As the name implies, we are in the southern part of Baja California. I'll have a little pop-up in the corner that will take you to my Mexico playlist so you can see the video about just Baja California Norte that I just did. But we're going to talk about the south today, which is quite different from the north, because the north has a reputation of being more of a place to go party. It also has kind of a dark reputation. This side, not so much. This side is much more natural, has incredible sea life, and it has Cabo San Lucas. Can you see? There's Cabo in the shot. Yeah, Cabo's in the shot. We gotta have Cabo in the shot. It's having a Baja blast down here at the very tip of Baja California land and here, which has some very famous sites down there that we'll take a look at on Google Earth. Cabo, as we call it in America, is a big tourist draw with lots of beach resorts and things. But the capital is La Paz. You can see up here in the Baja de La Paz, with lots of really incredible islands here, and also lots of kind of touristy marine tours, snorkeling, scuba, all of those fantastic things. We'll take a look at the island's UNESCO page in a minute. Let me finish with the geography, moving our way up. We have quite a lot of mountain ranges coming up the middle of the peninsula here. I'm going to adjust my mic so I get closer, so I'm not leaning over too many things to show you these mountains. We have, I don't think it's labeled anywhere, it probably is, but I can't see. But I've seen the mountain ranges called the Sierra de la Giganta, the big mountain range. But in the kind of northern part of the state, we have the Sierra de San Francisco, where we can find some incredible cave art. I think it's the largest cave art site by area, because they painted and decorated multiple caves over a huge area of land. So we'll take a look at those in a second. I'll show you what they look like. But the other very important geographic spot on Baja California Sur is the Vizcaíno Desert right here. We have the Vizcaíno Bay up here, with also lots of incredible islands. And these sites are very important because they're whale sanctuaries. So that leads us right into UNESCO, because all three of those I just mentioned are UNESCO sites. Wake up, tablet. There we go. I suppose I'll start with the, oh my goodness. Wake up, tablet. Wake up. Wake up. Make sure my camera's ready to go. Having a Baja blast here. Okay. We read this in the last video, but I'll just read it again, and we'll look at the pictures here. The islands and protected areas of the Gulf of California. The site comprises 244 islands, islets, and coastal areas that are located in the Gulf of California in northeastern Mexico. The Sea of Cortez and its islands have been called a natural laboratory for the investigation of speciation. Moreover, almost all major oceanographic processes occurring in the planet's oceans are present in the property, giving it extraordinary importance for study. The site is one of striking natural beauty in a dramatic setting formed by rugged islands with high cliffs and sandy beaches, which contrast with the brilliant reflection from the deserts and the surrounding turquoise waters. It is home to 695 vascular plant species, more than in any marine and insular property on the World Heritage List. Equally exceptional is the number of fish species, 891, 90 of them endemic. The site, moreover, contains 39% of the world's total number of species of marine mammals and a third of the world's marine cetacean species. Let's take a look at some of the pictures here. We have, of course, many sea lions, which me growing up in San Francisco, we're very familiar with these guys. Also lots of, hope you can see, pelicans as well. I think even more of those than sea lions from what I saw. But these cliffs are very rocky. This one looks kind of marshy. But yes, very abrupt, I suppose. That leads us into our next site, the whale sanctuary of El Vizcaíno. Located in the central part of the peninsula of Baja, California, the sanctuary contains some exceptionally interesting ecosystems. The coastal lagoons of Ojo de Liebre and San Ignacio are important reproduction and wintering sites for the gray whale, harbor seal, California sea lion, northern elephant seal, and blue whale. The lagoons are also home to 4 species of the endangered marine turtle. We don't have a lot of pictures here. It's mostly just the desert here, the Vizcaíno Desert. But this is a fantastic place, as you can tell by the description, to go whale watching. Now let's look at the rock paintings, which sadly that's the only picture. That's upsetting, so I googled some for you. Rock paintings of the Sierra de San Francisco. From circa 100 BCE to 1300 CE, the Sierra de San Francisco in the El Vizcaíno Reserve in Baja, California, was home to a people who have now disappeared, but who left one of the most outstanding collections of rock paintings in the world. They are remarkably well preserved because of the dry climate and the inaccessibility of the site. Showing human figures and many animal species, and illustrating the relationship between humans and the environment, the paintings reveal a highly sophisticated culture. Their composition and size, as well as the precision of the outlines and the variety of colors, but especially the number of sites, make this an impressive testimony to a unique artistic tradition. So like I said, I googled some pictures for you. Absolutely incredible. I like this one. It's very stereotypical, the different colors here. And look, there's a person sitting down. Compared to the size of this painting, they're absolutely gigantic. Look at this full-grown human man next to this. They have to have had ladders and scaffolding and, planning and visions. And some of it is just unbelievable. Like, there's no way that some of this could be from so long ago. Look, this one has a manta on it. Do you see? This one has a manta. Isn't that fantastic? Because, usually on rock art, you're like, oh, that looks like a deer. Oh, that looks like a buffalo. Like, that's a turkey vulture. Turkey vultures live all over the place where I'm from. And they fly around all the time. This looks just like a turkey vulture. Absolutely incredible. There's some really pretty ones. Like, look at this. Look how vivid that is. Absolutely outstanding rock art. So beautiful. And of course this culture is long gone. Oh, I like this one. Look at these colors. The overlay. It's genius. It's remarkable. This culture is long gone, unfortunately. Why is this stuck? Come on. There we go. So we don't know enough about their culture to really understand, but you can see what they found important, can't you? Creatures and big people with their hands up. But absolutely gorgeous art there. So the culture were the Goachimi, it's believed. And like it said, I think some have been dated to like the 1700s BCE, but for sure it was like the 100s BCE up until the 1300s CE. This rock art was created. And that culture faded. We're not sure what happened to them. Speaking of ancient cultures, there were lots of different indigenous groups here. kind of in the interior and along the coast, the most notable being the Guaycura and the Pericu. The Pericu were down at the tip of the peninsula. I can't see in the viewfinder the tip. There we go. Having a Baja blast down here. Anyway, the Spanish first arrived in 1533. They landed here near La Paz. Looked around to try to conquer this. The people abruptly kicked them out because they were not very kind to the indigenous people here. Let's put it that way. For YouTube monetization regions, you can use your imagination about why the conquistadors here were violently removed from the peninsula and from their bodies. They had it coming, let's say. In 1535, Hernan Cortez himself came sailing up looking for gold, which is why this is known as the Sea of Cortez. And of course, he didn't find any, and he left not long after that. The first actual settlements were from the Jesuit missionaries that established their first mission in Baja California Sur in 1697. They were kicked out of every Spanish colony in 1767, and following right behind were the Franciscans. They had arrived not long after that in 1758, started to settle, but then the Dominicans came in 1773, and they had a much stronger hold on this area. And in fact, this straight line here, why is it yellow? I should have colored it in. Oh no, now you can't see that. There we go. The line here was drawn in 1802 to separate the Franciscans from the Dominicans, creating missions down here to convert the indigenous peoples. Not long after that, independence would come to Mexico, and the missions were turned into just regular churches. The capital at this time was Laredo. You can see up here. Another really beautiful coastal town, as you can imagine, nowadays at least. But in 1830, there was apparently heavy rains, and it was so bad, I assume the town must have flooded or something, because that's when they moved the capital to La Paz. And it's still there today. A very, what should be considered wacky, but is not, is the story of William Walker. It was a notorious figure in Mexico and Central America. He was an American who in 1853 decided he was going to turn Mexico into a U.S. state, mainly to implement slavery. He was deeply racist, you guys. There's no skirting that. He decided to come down here and have his own Baja Blast, and conquered La Paz and Cabo pretty much. He held sway over the entire peninsula for almost a year. Tried to ask the United States to send him money. They were like, no, who even are you? And obviously Mexico was like, yeah, you gotta go. So he got booted out a year later, and would try again in Nicaragua and Costa Rica, with other disastrous results there. That's a story for another day. William Walker was the worst. Let's just put it that way. Baja California Sur became a state in 1974, which if you saw the first video, you know that Baja California Norte was made a state in 1952. So what happened to those 20 years down here? This was just like a region, the territory of Mexico, I suppose, and it took a long time for it to officially become a state. I assume it really picked up once Cabo's tourism industry started to beautifully flourish, as it still is going pretty strong today. Pretty much anyone I know in the United States that goes to vacation in Mexico, they either come here or they head over to the Yucatan on the farther end of the country. That's if you want to go see archaeological sites and swim in the Caribbean. You come to Cabo if you want to swim in the Pacific. Actually, it's where the Bay of California meets the Pacific, and I guess it's very rocky, and the waters are very different on both sides. Very interesting. I like places like that. And that is essentially where we are today. So why don't we head over to the tablet, take a look at some of these mountains, and of course the beautiful beaches. We can't ignore the beaches, so let's vamos a la playa and have a Baja blast over on Google Earth. Here is Baja California Sur. Let's start by zooming out so you can see exactly where we are in the world. This is the Baja California Peninsula here, attached to the much larger country of Mexico here, giving it a very unusual but unique and wonderful shape, I think. Makes it very easy to find on a globe. It stands out. You can see from above the spine of the mountains going down there. But we're going to start up here in the desert. Let's take a look. We got some whaley friends right there, because the ocean is also part of this reserve. So I think that might be a humpback, maybe. But yeah, this is what it looks like for the majority. Dry and cactusy. Beautiful old church there. Some sea lions sunning out. There's a whale friend. But yeah, this is a very popular spot for tourists to come and enjoy the whales while they're wintering here and having babies and stuff like that. Enjoying the luxurious water. So here you can see the San Francisco de la Sierra, which is where the rock art's located. There's only one tagged on here, and we're about to hunt it down. And right there, so easy. How come it's never that easy normally? We gotta see some more of this fantastic art. Any other cave is not listed. This guy's doing the pose. Can you see the guy up here? He's doing the pose. And I assume that's just because these caves are nigh impossible to reach. Ooh, do you see the little holes there? Probably where they put the pigment to paint. Absolutely incredible. You think this is a mountain lion? Okay, this is one of the ones where I'm like, oh, what is that? Maybe a little bear, but it's got the long tail. Look at these. Remarkable. It's really quite beautiful, isn't it? And the thing is, like, that doesn't look really impressive, but you have to imagine that this is, like, bigger than you. It's a massive painting. Massive, massive. Of course, we don't really know why it was created. Like most rock art, we're not 1000% sure why. For the most part, we're like 90% sure why, for some cases. But for all we know, it's just the human experience of cool thing. Make a cool thing. Cool thing is fun. For all we know. You can see this very dry, rocky interior. And let's head over to, while we're over here, to Laredo. Let's see, I'm trying to remember what the cool thing I wanted to show you was over here. Maybe it was the beach. Playa La Negrita. I love beaches. I said it before. Oh yeah, so I could show you the cool ATVs. It has some good pictures of the beach and the interior here, where you can see horseback riding on the beach is a very big industry down here in the south. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous pink. But yeah, you can have fun out here, jetting around or trotting around, I suppose, and sailing around. It sounds like a lot of fun. Further down here, you can see the islands out here. They're, of course, reserved, so it's not like, let's see, Baja de Loreto. It's not like you can, go and really camp out for a day. I think there's a couple of islands that might have an overnight lodge, I want to say. Or like a little eco camping site where you're not damaging the environment. But it is, World Heritage National Park, so you can't do too much there. Mostly you just can sail around like the people in these pictures are doing. Yeah, this is what most of the islands look like. Very rocky and barren nowadays, but I like to think once upon a time it was quite flourishing with all kinds of plant life, and probably the indigenous and some Spanish people probably just chopped it all down for resources. Probably looks more like this, a lot more lush back in the day. I think most famous island when I was researching was Espiritu Santo. And I think that's because it's the closest, like, fancy reserve to La Paz, which you can see is right there. I zoomed way too far out. It's easy to hop on a boat and check out this one, so I think that's why I saw it for the most times when I was researching. But it does look like a very beautiful island, and this was very sacred to the indigenous peoples that lived here once upon a time. Many groups still live here, but obviously not like they once did. Let's look at this national park and see the mountains here in the southern part. Also quite dry, very typical of, pretty, this northern area of Mexico. Dry and hot, but lush and beautiful at the same time. Still teeming with life. Wow. But like I said, in the north, you don't really come to Baja to go mountain hiking. Like, maybe you might go ATV riding. I've heard of, like, doing that out in the sand, but you come here for the beaches. Here's another one. I didn't see this one before. I hope this has good pictures. Oh, yes, it does. I did see this. Let's look at the sky. Ooh. Get to go underwater and see all the fish friends. I think there's some more, if I remember. But this is still beautiful, isn't it? They really weren't kidding about turquoise waters on UNESCO, were they? No, I think that was it. I was like thinking of a different slideshow. But yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. Did we look at La Paz? I think we just skipped La Paz. Here is La Paz. This is considered, like, if you want to get away from, this place is cool, I'll show you. From all of the tourist nonsense in Cabo, you can come here and still get the authentic experience. There's a whale museum. See, I did that, but this is not a whale. Orcas are dolphins. Did you know that? And lots of whale skeletons here. Look at this beast. Gosh, look at those chompers. That doesn't look real. That looks like that was made up. Whale skeletons are bizarre. They're so strange looking. And then this is the Anthropology Museum, which mainly talks about the cool rock art. From what I can tell from the slideshow, you can see little details of it on the outside. And yeah, look at how the people are painted like in the rock art. And dancing like in the rock art. I guess we assume that that's what they're doing in the art, huh? Celebrating. Lots of arrows. Lots of Clovis points found in all of Baja, north and south of saber-toothed tiger. Which Clovis points was some of the first tools and weapons that were made in North America. Little art here of the rock art. I like that. But I think we should head over to Cabo, don't you think? Oh, there's a cave. Wait. Oh no, Cerro is hill, not cave. Oh, there's a cave. Cueva is cave. Cerro is hill. Very different. But still quite beautiful, isn't it? I love giant cactuses like that. They are the funniest plants. They're so fascinating. There is a lot to explore in Baja California Sur. I highly encourage you to play around on Google Earth yourself and see it for yourself, and maybe find some more rock art. I combed those mountains looking for it. So here, like, if you go along the coast, you see nothing but, oh, it's in 3D, and that's right, Cabo's in 3D. Fancy schmancy homes up there. And all of these big resorts here on the beach. This is where you come if you've got money to spend and lots of fun leisure time. And of course there's lots of shopping and entertainment over here. We've got the cultural pavilion here, the Natural History Museum, which is where I would be, to be honest, when I'm not at the beach. But the most famous spot, we'll look at that at the end, is down here. El Arco, at the very, very end of Baja California Peninsula. It's this beautiful arch here. And lots of pelicans. Pelican Rock, as you saw, is just nearby. And it's the perfect spot for photos, boating. I think it's too dangerous to actually swim out here because it gets quite choppy. Because again, this is where the ocean meets the Bay of California. How neat is that? Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Our Earth is magical. That at the tip of this peninsula, it's just stunningly gorgeous. Lobos marinos, the sea wolves, which, as we say in English, sea lions, which are funny guys. I'm from San Francisco, and we're told not to go near them. They're dangerous. Here they just swim around. There's a whale, I think, or maybe I think that's a whale. They're just silly guys. They go or and they flop around, and they're silly. I think they're wonderful. I love sea lions. They are the funniest little goobs. And then over here we have Pelican Rock. But you can also see all the gorgeous beaches over here, right? Pelican Rock. Come on, where's the pelicans? Where's the pelicans? Where are they? Those are rocks. Those are fish. Beautiful fish. Pelicans, 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 pelicans. We found Pelican Rock. Lots and lots of pelicans. That's a cruise ship. But yes, that is beautiful Cabo and beautiful Baja California Sur. So thank you so much for watching. I hope that you had a Baja blast while watching this. If you enjoy this style of content, please consider subscribing. We are heading not too far away on the map. Next, we're heading over to Guatemala. And it's one of the few examples that the map in my atlas is better than the maps on Google Earth. So it's going to be lots of map tracing, and I printed out some pictures to show you guys. So if that's your flavor of ASMR, which is kind of mine to be honest, be sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. I hope that you found this video to be relaxing and educational. And I hope that you have a good night. Good night.